The world of Formula One is about to be turned upside down. In a bold and unprecedented move, the FIA has disclosed some shocking regulations that will redefine the sport as we know it. The 2026 season is shaping up to be a spectacle, unlike anything we've ever witnessed before. What do these changes mean for the future of racing? Will the shift to fully sustainable fuels impact the sport's dynamic? Let's find out. In 2026, Formula One will introduce the new 1.6-litre V6 hybrid engines and significant changes to the cars. The new cars will be 30 kilograms lighter, bringing the minimum weight to 768 kg. Cars from the 2026 season will be shorter and slimmer than the current cars, but still heavier than the 2021 models. These new F1 cars will continue to use ground effect aerodynamics to create downforce, though overall downforce will be reduced by around 30%. A key feature will be active aerodynamics, allowing drivers to switch between different setups whilst driving. They can choose Z mode for higher downforce or X mode for lower downforce and drag. The FIA expects these cars to have less than half the drag of current ones. The wheel arches introduced in 2022 will have been removed, but new mandatory bodywork will reduce the disruptive wake for trailing cars. The 18-inch wheels from 2 years ago will remain, but the front and rear wheel sizes will be reduced by 25mm and 30mm respectively, without losing significant tyre grip. Another big change is the abolishment of the drag reduction system, DRS, a controversial yet necessary addition to Formula One in 2011. The DRS will finally be retired when the new regulations come into effect in 2026. The adjustable rear wing system, introduced to aid overtaking, has been a subject of debate for over a decade, with many criticising its artificial nature and its impact on the sport's spectacle. While DRS has achieved its intended purpose of facilitating more overtaking opportunities, the overtakes themselves have often been criticised as lacking excitement, with one car simply breezing past the other on the straights before the braking zone. As a result, the FIA has decided to phase out DRS in favour of a more dynamic and engaging solution. The push-to-pass power boost system, also known as manual override, inspired by IndyCar's approach, will replace DRS as the primary overtaking aid. This system will provide drivers with a temporary boost in electrical power, allowing them to strategically deploy the extra energy to gain an advantage over their rivals. Unlike DRS, which was primarily limited to specific zones on the track, the push-to-pass system will enable drivers to utilise the power boost at any point during the race, adding an extra layer of strategy and skill to the overtaking process. FIA President Mohammed Ben Suleiman called the new regulations a hugely exciting future for Formula One. He said the regulations were designed to match the new energy requirements and attract more power unit manufacturers. He highlighted the focus on advanced technology, sustainability, and safety. Formula One CEO Stefano Domenicali added that the new regulations aim to provide closer and more exciting racing for fans. He emphasizes the potential of sustainably fueled hybrid engines to reduce global emissions and attract more engine suppliers to the sport. He believes these changes will further strengthen Formula One's global position. The proposed regulations must be officially confirmed and approved by the World Motorsport Council at their first meeting on Friday, June 28th. Well, the Formula One power units have undergone the biggest changes since the old V8 engines were replaced by the 1.6-litre V6 turbo hybrid engines back in 2014. The main reason for switching to hybrid engines in 2014 was to use relevant technologies to make Formula One racing more appealing to regular car manufacturers. The current turbo hybrid power units are extremely complicated pieces of technology. Each comprises an internal combustion engine, a turbocharger, 2 motor generator units, control electronics, and an energy storage system. But for 2026, these units will be majorly updated, the first real big changes since they were introduced a decade ago. Despite using less fuel, the 2026 power units will still pump out over 1,000 brake horsepower, thanks to the increased electrification. In line with Formula One's goal of reaching net zero carbon emission by 2030, say the fuel used in 2026 will be 100% sustainable and renewable. However, the plan for 2026 is to use carbon capture from non-food sources, waste materials, and even from the atmosphere itself. These power unit changes for 2026 will be coupled with an overall redesign of the Formula One cars themselves to create smaller, lighter, and more agile machines. In terms of power unit manufacturers signed up so far, Formula One has managed to attract 2 new companies for 2026 in addition to the existing suppliers. For the current suppliers, Honda will be leaving Red Bull as Ford confirmed in April 2023 that they have joined Red Bull as technical partners to create their very first engine completely from scratch. Red Bull Powertrains has already started working on the new engines at their Milton Keynes factory in England. Ford is returning to Formula One after more than 20 years away, as the 2026 engine regulations fit with Ford's goals of making more electric and software-focused vehicles. When the partnership was announced, Ford CEO Jim Farley said, "Ford's return to Formula One with Red Bull Racing is all about where we are going as a company. Increasingly electric, software-defined, modern vehicles and experiences." After leaving Formula One at the end of 2021, Honda confirmed they will return in 2026 when the new engine regulations start. During their previous stint in F1, they struggled with McLaren in the mid-2010s, but eventually had huge success supplying engines to Red Bull. Aston Martin has now agreed to an exclusive factory engine deal with Honda starting in 2026. As Formula One's longest running and most historic team, driving for Ferrari means having one of their own engines in the back of the car. Ferrari engines have had mixed success throughout the sport's history, but the team has frequently supplied custom teams over the years. Audi will join the Formula One grid for the first time in 2026 after taking over the Sauber team. In October 2022, Audi agreed to buy a majority stake in Sauber, which will become a full takeover in 2026. This also means a Volkswagen Brand will be on the F1 grid in 2026. Nico Hülkenberg has already signed to drive for the Audi team in their debut season. Now, before we continue, make sure to hit the subscribe button to stay updated with F1's latest news. In 2023, the Andretti global team received approval from the FIA to potentially enter Formula One. However, further assessment by Formula One commercial rights holders are still ongoing about whether an 11th team can actually join the grid. As part of Andretti's bid, American automaker General Motors said they would partner with Andretti to create an all-American team and build a Formula One engine through their Cadillac brand. But so far, Formula One has rejected Andretti Cadillac's initial plans. Andretti says their work to join the grid continues at pace. They even opened a Silverstone base in April 2024 to hire more staff ahead of a potential entry. Despite all this, the new Formula One power units from 2026 will have almost 300% more battery power than the current units. The new 2026 F1 cars will be smaller and lighter, which is something several drivers like Lewis Hamilton have repeatedly asked for. The 7-time champion is really happy about these new regulations. Talking to the media in Montreal, he said, "We just have to make sure these cars are efficient, fast, and a natural step forward, and that the actual racing is improved." Though several drivers are happy, Red Bull is unhappy with these regulations. Things have taken an interesting turn recently, with none other than reigning champion Max Verstappen and Red Bull team principal Christian Horner voicing some strong opinions, reigniting debates around these sweeping changes. It seems the Red Bull camp isn't entirely happy with the new rules, and they haven't shied away from expressing their concerns. Verstappen, known for his outspoken nature, was highly critical of the regulations, claiming that the team with the most powerful engine would also be the fastest on the track. The Dutchman also added a rather surprising observation: drivers might have to downshift on straights to recharge the battery. Verstappen's team boss, Christian Horner, echoed similar sentiments, openly questioning the benefits of the new Formula One rules. Horner's comments suggest that the Red Bull camp believes re-evaluating the regulations is necessary before their implementation. These vocal criticisms from one of the sport's top teams and drivers has reignited debates around the 2026 changes. Is Red Bull simply concerned about losing their competitive edge, or do these reservations hold merit? Only time will tell as discussion around these groundbreaking regulations continue to unfold. However, perhaps the most enduring legacy of the 2026 regulations will be their ability to capture and inspire young minds. What are your thoughts on the 2026 regulations? Do you believe they will take Formula One to new heights, or do you share the concerns raised by Verstappen and Horner? Share your perspectives in the comments below, and don't forget to like the video, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you on the next video.